Apigee X allows you to expose your APIs to end users by implementing API proxies. API proxies are nothing but a wrapper for your actual APIs. Did you know that the API proxy must be deployed for it to be invoked? The process of deploying the API proxy and making it accessible to the end users is referred to as API proxy deployment. Before you deploy your API proxy, you need to complete a set of prerequisites correctly. Networking and routing configurations are two of the key prerequisites for API proxy deployment. A key point to note, if the configurations are not defined correctly, then your API proxies may not be accessible. In this video, we will learn the Apigee X networking architecture and demonstrate how to verify the networking configuration of an Apigee X organization. On a high level, there are three key things to be configured in networking. First, the virtual private clouds or VPCs. Apigee X instances are provisioned in internal Google managed VPCs. However, Google managed VPCs are not directly accessible from your GCP projects. Therefore, you need to pair them either with VPCs or shared VPCs created in your GCP projects. Secondly, the Managed Instance Group or MIG. Currently, GCP load balancers cannot directly route requests to Google managed VPCs. Therefore, you need to use a MIG for forwarding requests received by the load balancer to the Apigee X instance. Be aware that this MIG needs to be created in the same VPC network attached to the Apigee X organization, and an ingress firewall rule is required for allowing the load balancer to route requests to the MIG. Finally, the load balancer. Depending on your routing requirements, you could either choose an external or an internal load balancer for routing requests to the Apigee X instances. Keep in mind that if you are using a shared VPC, then ensure that all managed instance groups, client hosts, and target hosts are created in the same network as shown in this diagram. Alright, let's jump into the Google Cloud Console and verify the networking configuration in a sample Apigee X organization. First off, let's verify if the proper VPC network is attached to a sample Apigee X organization. Open the Cloud Shell. Execute the following API request to determine the VPC network attached to the Apigee X organization. The authorized network property in this output refers to the name of the attached VPC. If you are using a shared VPC, ensure that authorized network property has the name of the actual VPC that is attached to the GCP project in which the load balancer and the MIGs are created. Next up, to verify the configuration of the MIG, go to Compute Engine, Instance Groups page and select your MIG. Click on the instance template, scroll down to the Network Tags section and note down the tags. Next, ensure the VPC network defined in the Network Interfaces section is the same as the VPC attached to the Apigee X organization. Scroll down further to the Custom Metadata section and verify the endpoint IP address against the Apigee X instance IP address. Navigate to the VPC network firewall page and verify the ingress firewall rule. Be aware, this firewall rule needs to be created in the same VPC attached to the Apigee X organization. Ensure that the network tags of the MIG are defined under target tags. And allow the load balancer health check probes source IP addresses ranges are included under the source filters section. Finally, let's look at how to verify the load balancer configuration. Go to Network Services Load Balancing and click on the load balancer name. Under the front-end section, verify that protocol, IP address, port, and the TLS certificate are configured correctly. Next, if any host and path rules are defined, verify whether they are configured correctly. Lastly, under the backend section, verify that the load balancer backend is healthy and it is pointing to the right MIG which forwards traffic to the Apigee X instance. To summarize, you learned the networking architecture in Apigee X and how to verify the networking configuration. Namely, VPC, MIG, and load balancers are configured correctly in an Apigee X organization.